Hello and good afternoon. Thank you for joining us as we take a close look at our new ArchivesSpace Implementation Buddies program. Please note this webinar is being recorded. At our annual member forum, we announced our idea to facilitate an implementation buddy program to help connect our ArchivesSpace community members so we can work through challenges together. We shared our thoughts on how stepping up as a mentor comes with the expectations that may exceed the bandwidth of most of our extremely busy community members. Our vision for Implementation Buddies aims to lift that burden of mentorship while connecting members who can help each other out in balanced harmony. In this webinar, we'll take a closer look at the Implementation Buddy listing as well as the ArchivesSpace Member Directory. Presenting today, we have Christine Kim, Community Engagement Coordinator for ArchivesSpace. In this position, Christine Kim is responsible for facilitating community activities and is inspired by the incredible projects, initiatives, and accomplishments of the ArchivesSpace community. We'll hold for questions at the end. So thank you to everyone attending this webinar today. There's so much diversity in the sample of projects in our community, and I'm always excited to learn more from each of you. However, I wonder if there's something we can do to facilitate how we share our experiences, ideas, and learning lessons. We all know that mentors are awesome. They're a wealth of knowledge who thrive on guiding everyone they tuck under their wing. And I have to be honest, I love mentors, and I love my mentor. I love that my mentor always has the answer to everything. So full disclosure, we were thinking really hard about how to build out an ArchivesSpace mentorship program because tons of people want mentors. But I very quickly realized that although mentors are in high demand, many people find it daunting to deem themselves a mentor. It could be because mentors have an insane pressure to be an expert on everything, have experienced everything, know the answer to everything, have knowledge that expands to the edges of the universe, and put their proteges ahead of their own self-care. Examples include Yoda to Luke Skywalker, Giles to Buffy, Dumbledore to Harry Potter, Mr. Miyagi to the Karate Kid. Our culture has emphasized extremely high standards to mentors, and while we know all of you would be absolutely incredible mentors, we're also realistic about your bandwidth. Instead, we came up with a similar but way more manageable concept that embraces a partnership and benefits all parties involved. During a member forum group brainstorming session, we came up with an idea that we're calling the Implementation Buddy. So what is an Implementation Buddy? An Implementation Buddy can be someone you can talk to about your challenges, someone who can help you brainstorm, someone you can help brainstorm, someone who may have distinct experiences to yours, someone who may offer diverse perspectives from yours, someone you can confide in, someone who won't judge you, someone who compliments you, and someone who compliments you. So essentially, a friend who will stick with you as you try new things. An Implementation Buddy emphasizes a partnership. We're thinking along the lines of Han Solo and Chewbacca, Mario and Luigi, Calvin and Hobbes, Bill and Ted, someone who will work with you to make your ArchivesSpace world a better place. So how do you find your buddy? How do we figure out who we can buddy up with? Now this is a challenge since our ArchivesSpace community is so distributed. But that's where we come in. If you are interested in participating as an Implementation Buddy, we have a short form you can submit to share some information about how you use ArchivesSpace, as well as a couple of optional fields that describe how you believe you could help a buddy and what type of ways you think a buddy could help you. We are taking the submissions and transforming it into a concise directory to list folks who are eager to be your buddy. We will distribute the listing to those who have submitted their interest in participating in the Implementation Buddy program. To clarify, you need to submit your interest in participating through the Buddy form in order to receive a list of the interested Implementation Buddy participants. This is a temporary distribution method as we explore the best way to communicate this resource. We are also compiling a new resource that will help us get to know each other's projects and connect with each other in a more informed way. This directory will serve as a resource to share how people are using ArchivesSpace. In this form, we will ask you to provide some general information about your institution. We aim to share where folks are at with their implementation, any information about legacy data, and what functions people are using in ArchivesSpace. It will also share any customizations, plugins, or integrations they are using, as well as any upcoming projects. We'll also ask about your access to technical support for your ArchivesSpace instance. Some of this information can quickly go out of date. We'll be asking institutions to update their information annually during renewal season. At the end of the form, we ask if it is okay to publish the information you have provided. We absolutely respect your privacy and encourage you to let us know if there's any information you wish we respectfully omit. However, we encourage all institutions to at least share insights into how they are using ArchivesSpace, even if they do not wish to have the information published and distributed. And finally, we'll include an option to share whether your institution is interested in participating as an implementation buddy. However, individuals will need to complete the buddy form in order to be listed as a buddy. We launched the data collection phase of the directory last month by sending out the directory submission form to designated member representatives. We are compiling this information into a PDF that we plan to distribute to the member representatives shortly after this webinar. Member reps are welcome to share this with colleagues at their institutions. The directory is listed in alphabetical order by institution name, and this is how the submitted information is provided in the directory. In the big picture, we aim to publish this information through the Help Center area for all members to access, but we're working out some technical kinks before we can make that happen. This PDF is a temporary workaround until we can get that sorted out. And for institutions that wish to hold on providing information about how they are using ArchivesSpace or their contact information, your submission is included within the full directory, but anything you did not provide consent to sharing is not included, whether it is your contact information, your use scenarios, or any combination of both. All right, so some potential questions you might have. Can you have more than one buddy? Sure, but you should check your bandwidth. How do we get in touch with our buddy? Find your potential buddy through the buddy listing and feel free to get connected through email initially. You can then determine what the best form of communication is with your buddy. As part of this initial conversation, also clarify expectations on what your realm of projects includes, as well as your bandwidth. What if I can't help my buddy? Buddies don't have to have the answer to everything, but hopefully you'll be able to point them in the right direction. It's okay to refer your buddy to another person. Sometimes your buddy may need to reach out to tech support or get additional training, or perhaps even hire a consultant. What if I can't be a buddy anymore? It may depend on the situation, but feel free to talk to your buddy, or if it feels more appropriate, please feel free to contact me about it. I'm sure there are plenty more questions, so please feel free to bring them up. We really look forward to helping our community connect through our new Implementation Buddy program. And thank you all for bearing with me through this demonstration on how this program will work. And if there are any questions, feel free to use the chat box. That's a great question. So the question is the Implementation Buddy system for an allotted amount of time, or will you be a buddy forever? I'm going to leave that up to the buddies to determine if they'd like to be a buddy for let's say a year, or let's say a couple of years, or for forever. But I think that's a great conversation for buddies to have. As far as on our end, we'll provide this as a resource as long as it seems to be of interest to our community. So the question is Implementation Buddy restricted to the initial installation or ongoing problems? I don't think so at all. I think the initial experience of launching your ArchivesSpace instance is probably a very challenging, the most challenging part of using ArchivesSpace, and definitely the implementation buddies will be super helpful for that. But from my perspective, I think there are ongoing activities and projects such as data cleanup or managing different location projects, for instance. I think a lot of those projects that archivists are exploring in their own institutions, it would be really helpful if they connect with their implementation buddies in order to think about the best way to approach addressing certain challenges. So the question is, I would want a buddy to help us get up and running with ArchivesSpace and through our migration from Archivist Toolkit. So I don't think I would have anything to offer in return to my buddy. It would really be a one-way relationship. Is that okay? From some of the buddy submissions I've received, it really does seem like there are some people who really want to help versus really needing some type of help in return. So I don't think that would be a problem. I think by using the form and mentioning what you'd be able to help with, as well as what you're looking in terms of receiving for help, I think that's a great way to gauge how we can help each other. And also, just because you're getting help from one person, that one person isn't restricted from connecting with another person, a third party, who might be able to help them as well. I guess what I'm trying to say is we don't have to have just one buddy. The question is, will you be keeping track of who's buddied up with who at all, since it sounds like the expectation will be for people to find and make arrangements with their own buddies once they have access to the list? I've been thinking about this, and I can't say I have a real answer yet. I hesitate to track who's the relationships of community members, just because I don't want to make anyone feel like I'm trying to micromanage this resource. I do want to, if it seems like that would help, I'm definitely open to exploring that avenue. But I'd like to try to keep this program as a community resource that the community kind of naturally, organically connects through. But if there's any way to improve upon it, I'm definitely down to explore it and figure out how to make it work as best as possible. And let's say that you're not sure about whether you're interested in participating in the Implementation Buddy program now, or maybe you just don't have the bandwidth right now. This is going to be an ongoing program, and so if it's something that you'd like to take up later on, let's say a year from now, after you kind of get a gauge on how this program is working, you're definitely welcome to join at any point. Oh, that's a great question. So will there be a hub or listserv where all buddies can communicate on our own? So I think that's a really great point. That could be a really good opportunity to share our resources as buddies as well. If that's something that you guys are interested in, I think what I can do is, I think that's a really great idea. What I can do is I can follow up with everyone who's submitted their interest in being a buddy, and then see what I can do as far as providing resources in order to make it as easy as possible to make it a successful buddy connections. So as a plan, I'm thinking I can share the resource, the buddy survey form, as well as the recording of this webinar to our community to give everyone another chance to submit their interest. And then about a week from now, I can email everyone who's expressed interest in being a buddy the directory, as well as some questions on what resources I could try to create on my end, including a listserv. So the question is, if you don't immediately find a buddy or later need a different buddy, will you be able to continue? Oh, I need to scroll back up. Will you be able to continue accessing the updated list? Will you need to refill out the form? So that's a great long-term question, and I kind of envision every few months, or maybe every 6 months or so, I'll send out reminders to the greater community to let everyone know that this is an ongoing resource, and to give people an opportunity to participate if they are interested in participating at a later time. Of course, if we have new people joining in on the program, then we'll have to update the list, and I'll send out that updated list to everyone. And if you have any changes in what you're looking for in a buddy, if you want to make edits to that, then you can go ahead and fill out the form again and just update your listing. And then the next one is, it might help to have a recommended person in a hub. Like if you've migrated from Archivist Toolkit, there are 3 really good people to connect to. But if you're migrating from Archon, there are 4 other people that are great to connect with. So a hub type listserv may help. I think that's a really great idea also. And I think it would be interesting to see if, once we get this buddy program going, if we end up finding maybe smaller groups of people who kind of have similar needs in common, who are really connecting and helping each other out. So I'll give another minute or so to see if there are any other questions coming in, but definitely if you have any questions or ideas or feedback on how to make this program successful as possible, please feel free to email me, and I'm really happy to help. All right, thank you everyone. Thank you all for joining us today for this webinar, and the recording of this webinar will be available later today. Thank you and have a great afternoon, and please feel free to reach out to me at any point.